It's a great day for hockey here in Bloomington, Minnesota, as we're at Rink 3 of the Bloomington Ice Garden, and we are just about to hear the introduction of both teams between the Great Lakes and Great Plains matchup. Throughout the rest of the tournament, we'll be hearing just the starting lineups, but let's go ahead and take a listen in, starting with Great Plains. We'll turn it over to the PA announcer.
First off, number 1, Jackson Chezik. Number 2, Dawson Hall. Number 3, Cotton Nimmer. Number 4, Oliver Sidadova. Number 5, Oliver Curtis. Number 6, Wyatt Tower. Number 7, Kyle Kamsinger. Number 8, Jake Kamsinger. Number 9, Michael Mahoney. Number 10, Cade Straub. Number 11, Chase Sakrisky. Number 12, Sam Cutrano. Number 14, Liam Campbell. Number 15, Dylan Raphael. Number 16, Camden Guyette. Number 17, Colin Baker. And finally, number 30, McCullen Hayes. Coaching Team Great Lakes is Christian Blake. Fans, let's give it up for Team Great Lakes.
And now we'll be listening into the introduction of their opponents, the Great Plains.
Great Plains. First off, number 1, Cash Truitt. Number 2, Henry Chimmel. Number 3, Keaton Junt. Number 6, Mikey Burchild. Number 7, Logan Lutner. Number 8, Dylan Dean. Number 9, Victor Plant. Number 10, Nate Peterson. Number 13, AJ Francisco. Number 14, Wyatt Kuznick. Number 16, Kaysen Panzer. Number 17, TJ Hale. Number 18, Charlie Engstrom. Number 19, Kane Johnson. And finally, number 21, Sammy Nelson. Team Great Plains is coached by Connor Clark, assisted by Kurt Hallstrom. Give it up for Team Great Plains. Now fans, would you please rise? Gentlemen, remove your caps as we honor America in the playing of the Star Spangled Banner.
The Great Lakes squad will be in gray uniforms with black numerals outlined in orange trim. They'll be going from left to right in your opening period. From right to left, Great Plains in tan jerseys with black numerals and just ever so much white trim for this opening period. Again, my name's Eric Zamora. We're so glad that you could join us. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the two squads, starting with the visitors. Great Lakes will go with a lineup of Jackson Chesick out of Matamidi, Minnesota, in between the pipes. Defensively, Colin Baker on the left and Kyle Kanzinger on his right. Top line is centered by Chase Sakreski. On his left, Sam Catrano, and on his right, Liam Campbell. For Great Plains, Cash Cruitt is in the crease. Left defenseman, Henry Shamil. On the right side, Nathan Pedersen. Top line, Logan Lutner, who wins the draw here and will look for an outlet. Eventually will move it over to his right defenseman. Lutner centering the top line with Wyatt Kuznick on the right side, and on the left, Dylan Dean. Into their own zone goes the puck, so Great Plains traveling back in to track it down. They'll wrap it around the boards. It comes around for Kuznick, and Great Plains gets an exit out of the zone. Early on, Lakes looking to make a change. Centering pass to the top of the right circle. Shot doesn't get through. Broken up backhand effort, and that will carry him out into the Great Plains area and will die with the momentum enough for icing to be waved off. Carving over, strong, aggressive forecheck, knocks down a player, but popping right back up is Dylan Dean. Seems no worse for the wear. Offside as Dean got tangled up with a player on the Great Lakes side, and because of that was unable to keep his skate in neutral territory. So we do have a face-off just in front of us. Face-off taken by Kane Johnson out of West Fargo, North Dakota. He is one of 4 players on this Great Plains squad that hails from North Dakota, along with Keaton Junt and TJ Hale, both from West Fargo. Kason Panzer is the lone player from Grand Forks. The rest of the team hailing from the home state of Minnesota. Engstrom plays it back into the offensive zone, giving chase. They'll feed it back to the point. From the right point, can't get that shot through. Backed up. Opportunity to try to snap it, can't. Sent around, and Great Plains will use the half wall, bounce pass around. And trying to feather pass through. It got through, still in the crease, and covered up by the mitt of Chesick. Had an opportunity to talk with the coaching staffs a little bit before the game and appreciate that. Great Lakes coached by head coach Christian Blick, Rick Kanzinger, the assistant coach, and wanted to thank them for letting me know that Chesick wearing a jersey that has the wrong last name on it. As a broadcaster, appreciate little tidbits like that, which would have made me think that perhaps there had been a last-minute change in the netminder. Patrick Lilia, our camera operator and engineer/producer. Again, my name's Eric Zamora with the play-by-play. No score early in this contest. 2.5 minutes gone by. Great Lakes with the behind-the-cage pass, looking to outlet and move it ahead Into the right corner they go, stymied from there. Great Plains will take over possession in their defensive end and feed it up the right wing boards. Backed up by the defenseman, sliding over and looking to poke it ahead. Now an opportunity for Great Lakes. As they caught Great Plains in a change, they fire a shot on Cruitt. Makes the stop and then leaves it there with plenty of time looking for an outlet. Was Lutner. They'll feed a pass over for Kuznick. Behind the goal line. Trying to get something out of not much right now. It bounces, takes a fortunate bounce for Great Plains. They feed a pass out front, and it's slammed home in tight. Wyatt Kuznick takes the feed from Logan Lutner, and the top line strikes for Great Plains just 3 minutes and 40 seconds into action, and Great Plains with a 1-0 lead. Back in their own defensive end, looking to quickly get out. They're trying to avoid Great Lakes with a strong bounce back. Defending and keeping the play wide is Svoboda.
Assisted by number 7, Logan Lutner. Time of the goal, 11 minutes and 20 seconds in the first period. Kuznick from Lutner at 11:20.
It was an even strength goal. Set up the boards, and Great Plains does a nice job. Strong on the puck. Looking for the toe drag. Had a man open. It was Charlie Engstrom out of Stillwater, Minnesota, but couldn't find the passing lane. Bumped off by TJ Hale, who came in like a bull in a china shop. Looking for options, and by the time they worked the puck deep, impossible angle, looked like either at the goal line or below it. Little over 5 minutes have expired here. Centering pass out front, and a great save by the netminder. Chesick, tall to the task, as he was able to get those pads low and in a hurry to avoid that one trickling through his 5-hole. So Lutner, the only credited assist on the play, the opening tally of the frame. And Kuznick, who hails from Maple Grove, as does Lutner. And for good measure, so does Dylan Dean, that top line, all playing for the Osseo Maple Grove area. Lutner and Dean specifically on the Leaf Birds, and I'm sure some familiarity between the three of them, no surprise that head coach Connor Clark and assistant coach Kurt Hallstrom elected to put those three together and get them out on the ice early in the contest. And to this point, it has capitalized as they take the early 1-0 lead. Across the line, cleanly, firing a shot. That started to ride up on Chesick, but he was able to fight it off with both the paddle and the blocker. Snapping a shot, loud pad save, but the rebound put home. And Great Lakes comes back with an answer at the 6-minute 51-second mark and have tied this game at 1 apiece. Another even strength goal. And again, we're seeing both teams rewarded for going hard to the crease and applying that pressure. Great Lakes dancing with it, looking to try to find an option there was Oliver Curtis. He hails from Ellicott City, Maryland. Excuse me, Ellicott City, Maryland. Sent out front, and a grade A scoring opportunity denied out front. But Great Plains gets too many more chances like that. They're going to start burying some of them. They're back into the offensive zone. Looking for the handoff. Going upstairs and in. Great Plains responds. Mikey Burchild out of Minnetonka, Minnesota. A Minnetonka skipper gives his squad the lead right back. And it is 2-1. Just 9 seconds into the second half of our opening period.
Scoring for Team Great Lakes, number 2, Easton Sigurdsson. Assisted by number 9, Camden Guyette. Time for Great Lakes goal, 8 minutes and 9 seconds in the first period. Scoring for Great Plains right after, number 6, Mikey Burchild. Assisted by number 19, Kane Johnson, and number 21, Sammy Nelson.
So on the Burchild goal, Kane Johnson and Sammy Nelson getting the assists. Looking for a centering pass. For Great Lakes, they announced the goal as 2 from 9, although the names didn't quite match the numbers. I'm assuming the incorrect part was in the names. As 2 for Great Lakes, Dawson Ball, Michael Mahoney out of Fort Myers, Florida. Wearing 9, Great Lakes tags up. And with 5:45 left to go in the opening period, Great Lakes trailing by a score of 2-1 and looking to get back in this. A little bit of an overstep there by Keaton Junt as he was traveling a smidge faster than his stick work could keep up with. And careful protection. Nice job, Great Plains. Moving into the offensive zone. Waiting, snapping a shot. It started to roll up the stick of the opposition as trying to fire that was Junt. Junt gets tangled up. Tripping call coming, and it will be negated as the goal is scored on the delayed call, and it's Johnson who taps it in for Great Plains. Kane Johnson had an assist moments ago. He'll now pick up the goal at the 9-minute, 54-second mark.
Scoring for Team Great Plains, number 19, Kane Johnson.
Turned over. And Junt will pick up the lone assist on the tally. Nearly turned over. It is in the offensive zone. They slide it over, and somehow the netminder, Cruitt, gets there in time. Moving from left to right, he's able to put the pads down and not only make the initial stop, but then cover up for the whistle. 4s all across the board. 4:44 left to go in the first. And Great Plains struck first. Great Lakes tied it up, and Great Plains answered. They've come back twice to take a 3-1 lead. Great Lakes looking to get it to the red line and then dump it in. That's a heads-up play as it allows not only Great Lakes to keep rolling that machine and try to cycle in the offensive zone, but it's pinned Great Plains deep and allowed Great Lakes the opportunity to get a couple of players changed as their D-core makes a change. Coming in is Oliver Svoboda out of Fort Myers, Florida, Svoboda, with a V in the spelling, though I was told by the coaching staff it's silent. Not sure if it's silent or if the family just said we're fine with everyone mispronouncing it and just letting it go. Waiting, snapping a shot, blocker save. Then the netminder thought about covering it up with the glove, instead elects to let it go. Chipped out to the center circle. Couple of passes later, Great Plains back into their office as they try to work in the offensive zone. A drive, slap shot, blocked. Kept in the offensive zone, but they'll trade possession for position as they turn it over at center ice. And Great Plains working it in is Panzer. Panzer listed as the 5th defenseman in a 5-defenseman rotation, obviously, though, just to start things out. After that, everybody getting about the same ice time. And a great move by the netminder, denies a man in tight. Great Plains looked like they were going to be celebrating another one as they had Dylan Dean setting up shop. He was camped out there. And the netminder, Chesick, able to get over in time. Bodies collide. Hitting the ice is Junt. He pops right back up. No worse for the wear. Looking to help on the breakout. They'll get this ahead for Panzer. Tries to feather a pass through, and it's in. It looked like a pass attempt. Goes off of the skate. And with 2 minutes and 17 seconds to go in our opening frame, Kason Panzer out of Grand Forks, North Dakota, pinching in from the blue line. Tough angle. And is able to make it work. 12 minutes, 43 seconds. Time of the goal. And I was going to say, I assumed it was an unassisted tally. It was indeed, as 16 took it in himself. He now standing at the left defensive spot, and he'll have to deal with some pressure coming in. Waiting and then feeding a pass back across the grain was Sakreski. Nice job of Great Plains keeping him to the side. Junt, again, it gets a little bit out in front of him. 95 seconds left to go in our opening frame. Remember, stay with us here as we will not have much of a break between periods 1 and 2. There is no resurfacing. The Zamboni will jump out between periods 2 and 3. We'll just have a 60-second break here in the action as teams get rested up and switch ends. Puck a little bit careless there where Great Lakes turned over for a moment, but they're able to play strong in the defensive zone and steal it right back. Great Plains chip it ahead behind the goal line, looking for an outlet. Options, and Great Lakes quickly strips that away. Tough forecheck, gets it right back. With it is Plant. Plant stays with it. Waiting, firing. Looked like a pass attempt and broke it up. Into the offensive zone with speed, then peeling back is Rafael out of Ashburn, Virginia. Fed up, and this will be on target, so no icing on the way. 30 seconds left. Goaltender Chesick will leave it for Svoboda. He'll switch over to the other defenseman. Now outlet pass for Kanzinger. That's Jake Kanzinger. Have to differentiate as his brother Kyle out there as well. 13 seconds left. Nice stick lift. And Great Lakes looking for an opening and an option. Feed it up the right side. Rafael hounding away, trying to steal it back. Chipped ahead. Rafael now with it, sees the clock, and will sit on it. 4-1. Great Plains on top. We'll be back in 60 seconds with period number 2. You're watching Great Plains versus Great Lakes on the 2018 North American Hockey Showcase right here on Youth Hockey Hub. Back here at Rink 3 of the Bloomington Ice Garden. Great Plains taking on Great Lakes. We do have one final for you earlier in action right here on Rink 3. Midwest defeated North America by a score of 7-2. Last we had heard Manitoba leading International 3-0 after 2 periods of play, but have yet to get a score update since then. We'll switch ends. Great Plains in the tan jerseys, black numerals, a little bit of white trim. Going from left to right, they have a 4-1 lead. Great Lakes in the the gray jerseys with orange numerals outlined in black trim. A backhand shot and a goal. Great Plains picking up where they left off in period number 1. Right back at it, the goal scorer, Logan Lutner. Lutner with his first goal and second point of the afternoon. It comes just 30 seconds into action. And Great Plains on top by a score of 5-1.
Scoring for Team Great Plains, all by himself, number 7, Logan Lutner. Time of the goal, 14 minutes in, 29 seconds into the second period.
Tangled up, Great Plains staying with it. Feeding it ahead was Kane Johnson. Johnson with a goal and an assist already in the contest. And Lutner joins that stat line as well. Contact there going into the boards is Panzer. Panzer with a goal already, now drawing a call, and it will give his squad a power play opportunity with 13:43 left to go in our second stanza. And it looks like the guilty party will be Cade Strom out of Estero, Florida. Up next for Great Plains, they'll be playing the early game tomorrow at Mariucci at 8 a.m. They square off against Manitoba, firing a shot in the slot, and Chestnut is able to come up with it now in shorthanded with the opportunity is Sekreski firing a shot, and it was nearly inadvertently tipped in. Chase Sekreski out of Portage, Pennsylvania, with the shot. The defenseman coming back to make the play nearly tapped it in, but strong play by the goaltender. And Cruitt comes up with a stop, sliding over on the man advantage. Great Plains now looking to slow things down, settle it down, and Great Lakes chipping it ahead. They'll get it to the center circle, no further. Brought right back in by Luttner. Luttner waits, dishes, upstairs they go with the shot, and that will go up and out of play, hitting the netting and coming back in. And it looks like they will go ahead and change up the power play for Great Plains. That was a shot by Burchild that didn't stay in the field of play. Backhand Luttner smelled blood in the water and nearly capitalized, but it just goes down as another save for the netminder, Chisek. Ahead for Kuznick. Kuznick from the right circle. Attempted backhand pass, broken up, 22 seconds to go. In the man advantage. We've got 12 left here in the middle period. Luttner backhands it out and then pays the price for it as a collision there with Jake Kanzinger out of Bala Sinwid, Pennsylvania. Great Lakes back to full strength, 5-on-5. Kuznick gains the line, tries to 8-iron a pass into the slot. Francisco has a man coming from his blind side. Strong, able to feed it over, and nearly capitalizing on the tail end of that play was TJ Hale. We've got another penalty on the way as it's touched up by Panzer. And knowing exactly where he goes next, Dylan Dean doesn't argue with the call at all. He heads straight to the box with 11:08 left to go in the second period, and an opportunity for Great Lakes to try to cut into the lead of Great Plains. Great Plains striking 4 times in the first period. Luttner with the lone goal here in the second period. Chipped but offside. Great Lakes has to retouch, and that allows Great Plains an opportunity to get it out to center ice, back of their own defensive zone. Sending it up the boards. It does get out now with it, and a nice job there by Nate Pedersen out of Shakopee, a Shakopee Sabre. Instead of just looking to advance it immediately, saw that he had time and space to his left, was able to feed it, and because of that, Great Plains able to get it deep and make Great Lakes go the length of the ice. Halfway through this power play opportunity, turned over in their own zone. Great Plains now fighting desperately to get it out and force everyone out of the zone, although at that point pretty much everybody had exited, sensing that there likely was going to be a need to touch up. Great Plains chipping it in deep. They're 35 seconds away from getting back to 5-on-5 hockey. Great Lakes bringing it up the left side, waiting, and slipping a pass through the legs of opponent Engstrom, but Engstrom is able to get back to it. He'll feed that over for Francisco, and it slowly gets out of the zone. Great Lakes onside, firing a shot. It hits Twine, but to the side of the netting. Single-digit seconds away from getting back to 5-on-5. Hitting the crossbar with a great opportunity there was Francisco. Nelson was charging in, waiting for a rebound. It did not go the way of Great Plains. Smothering that shot attempt was Victor Plant. And I'm told it's Plant, although I know in his neck of the woods, Hermantown, about half of them are Plants, half of them are Plants. Not sure if he is related to the Hermantown boys varsity head coach or not. And firing a shot upstairs and in is Sammy Nelson. Great feed across. And this is how you can tell how good of a scoring opportunity it was, capitalized at the 6-minute, 25-second mark. As when Sammy Nelson was first hit with the puck, he had a yawning net. However, he did not have a good angle, had to wait on it. And because of that, the netminder, Cruitt, was stuck in the right side of the right goalpost, I should say, and looked to be a little tired and worn out, not able to get back in time. There will be a goaltender change. McCullen Hayes out of Bark River, Michigan, in relief of Chesick. As Chesick plays a little less than half of the period. Working it below the goal line. Great Plains able to come up with a defensive stop. Kuznick. And trying to thread the needle was Burchild as he had to split the D. And Great Lakes wasn't going anywhere. This one will go the length of the ice and over the goal line for an icing call over the halfway point of the contest, about 3 seconds past, 7:27. And Hayes now coming back to the bench. Cruitt out of Andover, Chesick out of Bonamedi, back in the pipe, so wondering if perhaps there wasn't an equipment issue that need to be dealt with. 7:15 left to go in the second. Turned over at neutral ice. Reaching in, Great Plains breaks it up and keeps it in the zone for a moment. Kuznick working at it. Fed ahead. Turned over, Great Lakes onside. With it was Campbell. Just as I say that, it's stripped away. Great Lakes having to race back into their own end and looking for options. A relentless forecheck. Dean trying to create a turnover, and it does. Spinning with a backhand effort was Panzer. Now Great Lakes in from a tight angle. Centering pass out front, and it finds unfriendly stick tape. Played back, Great Lakes giving chase. Couldn't tell if that was Curtis or Tower as the jersey partially tucked in. Sweeping it towards the net was Francisco. Now they'll head off for a change. Luttner comes off. In his place, Johnson. And those two have been two of the more dominant forces in this contest for Great Plains. With time and a little bit of space is Panzer. Both of those quickly evacuated as pressure applied. Nice pass to find that lane through a sea of bodies. Great Plains waiting at neutral ice to enter the zone. Firing a shot. It misses on the shooter's short side. On the far side as we see it here from the stands. Again, we're here at the Bloomington Ice Garden. Waiting, firing through traffic that doesn't get through all the bodies, but Great Lakes in desperate need of a clearance that they have yet to get to this point. Now we've got a stoppage in the action with 4:59 left to go in our second period. I want to remind you of some of the upcoming tournaments that Youth Hockey Hub will be presenting this year, including right back here at the Bloomington Ice Garden. It's the Western States Invitational that takes place September 13th through 15th. Down in Rochester, the Big Pumpkin Pee Wee Invitational, a Halloween-themed tournament. That's October 25th through the 27th. Up in Moorhead, much closer for our North Dakota friends, as this is tapped at and in. A little bit of a hesitation there from the official. Wanted to make sure that that had indeed gotten through. And with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left to go, I believe this is going to be Plant's goal. We'll get confirmation here in a moment, as there were a slew of bodies giving a poke at it. The goal comes at the 10-minute, 19-second mark, and the even strength tally puts their squad on top 7-1. A sharp angle shot by Victor Plant out of Hermantown, Minnesota, a Hermantown Hawk. The Blue Ox tournament being held up in Moorhead on November 8th through 10th, and over Thanksgiving weekend back here at the Bloomington Ice Garden. The Gobbler, November 27th through December 1st. Over in Stillwater on the edge of the Minnesota-Wisconsin border is the Lumberjack Cup, December 13th through 15th. The Founders Cup, January 3rd through 5th, down in Rochester. Next year, 2020, January 22nd through 26th, Schwann Super Rink up in Blaine will host the Squirtacular. We've got the Youth Hockey Hub Dangle Fest. That'll be taking place November 8th through the 10th, and the Stars of Tomorrow, March 19th through the 22nd, 2020, right back here at Bloomington Ice Garden. You can get more information on all those tournaments on youthhockeyhub.com. Into the offensive zone, firing a shot, and it's banged home. Leading the charge. They weren't able to get the goal off the initial shot, and I believe this is going to be credited to Great Plains Dean. Didn't see if the second player in there got a piece of it or not. Kane Johnson leading the rush. TJ Hale giving a poke at it. The goal comes with 3 minutes and 37 seconds left to go in the second period. 8-1. Great Plains now on top. Stolen away by Johnson. He'll slam on the brakes. Bumped into the boards, no worse for the wear. They try to tap it around, waiting. Some body contact there. The officials will call it inadvertent and will skate on. Sans whistle. Nice breakout pass. Great Lakes at that point would have taken anything just to get out of the zone. But now to lead that scoring opportunity, that was all set up by that first touch pass out of the zone. Back in Great Plains, Nelson throws it towards the net, covered up by Chisek. 2:30 left to go in our second period. Fed over. Slam on the brakes. Poked out. Fed ahead. And now, an opportunity with an odd man advantage. They get it right back to him, and what a pretty give and go. Sammy Nelson feeds it over unselfishly and then gets it right back. 2 minutes, 7 seconds left to go in our second period. That's all Great Plains 9-1. The great job there of communicating as Nelson looked like initially wanted to take the first shot, then heard his winger calling for it, fed it to him, then got it right back and went upstairs, was not going to miss on that shot. I believe it was Burchild, but we'll get confirmation here in just a matter of moments. Snapping a shot, down low and in. Great Lakes cuts into the lead, and they'll make it 9-2. The goal scorer for Great Lakes, Michael Mahoney. It's his second point of the evening, or afternoon, I should say. 13:35. Time of the goal. Minute 15 left to go in our second period. And unless Great Lakes can get a few more here before the period comes to an end, they will be starting out the third period at least with running time. Falling to his knees, firing over and scoring. A great job and a hand-eye coordination play. Wyatt Kuznick. Kuznick from his knees strikes with 49.4 left to go. And Kuznick trying to bring it over to his forehand, lost his footing in the process, no problem. As Great Plains reaches double digits. Now with it, steered aside. And a nice toe drag that'll allow Great Plains an opportunity here with about 20 seconds left to go in the frame. Come on, Ollie. They've got an odd man rush. Centering pass, and it skips over the tape of TJ Hale. 5 seconds left, looking for a centering pass. Knocked off of it was Junt, and the horn sounds. 10-2. Great Plains on top of Great Lakes after 2 periods are in the books. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with the third right here on your home for the 2019 North American Hockey Showcase Youth Hockey Hub. And welcome back into Rink 3 of the Bloomington Ice Garden. Great Plains on top by a score of 10-2 over Great Lakes here to start the third period. What that means is that for the start of the period at least, we will be playing with a running clock. It will be a running clock until and unless Great Lakes brings the score within 4. 5 or more differential, and we are currently at 8, is a running clock. 4 or less in the third period is a stop clock. Great pass, and it's kicked in. The goal will actually go to the goal scorer, and then it inadvertently careened off of one of the Great Plains players' skates. And the goal by Great Lakes quickly makes it 10-3 here, 55 seconds into our opening period. I believe it was Guyette who took the shot. Tough to see as he is one of the players that tucks his jersey into his breezers. But you couldn't ask for a better start for Great Lakes here in period number 3. They've already got goals by both Ball and Mahoney. Mahoney with a 2-point afternoon. This will kick out to center ice in the red line. Great Lakes trying to get it deep. Junt does a nice job of keeping that puck moving westbound. Stepping up, they try to advance gameplay. Sent into the slot, ripping a shot. Blocker save by the netminder. And we have had a goaltender substitution once again. Great Lakes started with Jackson Chisek. Now in relief for Great Lakes is McCullen Hayes. Hayes did come in for just in between 2 whistles for about 45 seconds in the second period, but I believe that was for an equipment issue with Chisek, just allowing them to let the goaltender work on that without having to stop the clock or take time out. Centering pass out front, fought off, diving to get it ahead. Great effort there by Great Lakes, as looking to move it was Mahoney. Kyle Kanziger now replacing him out onto the ice. Centering pass, it pinballs in the slot and then stripped away by Great Plains. Burchild. And a Great Plains player blows a tire. Coming back the other way is Campbell, Liam Campbell. Steered to the corner, and that's what this Great Plains squad has had a lot of success doing so far in this matchup, keeping Great Lakes to the exterior, keeping those shots from tough angles and low percentage chances. Slap shot from high on the right circle for Great Plains. They'll look to move, cut around, and feed it ahead. That skips over the stick, but does touch the Great Lakes player. So the deflection waves off icing. Stolen away by Great Lakes' Sekreski out of Portchester, Pennsylvania. Now back the other way. Rising shot taken and off the mark. They'll feed it out front. It was given right back to Lutner. Lutner from his knees, unable to connect. They'll move it on the deep pairing from left to right. Knockdown. Nice stick there. Try to sweep that away. 10:08 left to go here in regulation. Fed over to the left side. With it is Engstrom. He's boarded up along the end boards. Engstrom, excuse me, that's Dean, switching spots with Engstrom for the moment. And now heads on for a change. Engstrom with it. Soft pass into the slot. Great feed teed up for Keaton Junt. And probably a little bit frustrated with himself as to where that one ended up. But a nice job. Couldn't have asked for a easier pass to track. Although the fact that there wasn't much on it might have been why the shot ended up being a little bit wonky, as with a harder pass would have been able to get a little bit more on it. And going upstairs with the shot, Great Plains, T.J. Hale out of West Fargo, North Dakota, strikes with 9:02 left to go on a running clock here in the third period. .558 time of the goal. And it is Great Plains on top by 8 once again. They don't look like they're done as of yet. Plant tries to feed it over. Pinching in from the blue line is Panzer. He's already got a goal. Does the defenseman. He now back at the point. And should point out that's the first against Hayes as he's playing in relief. Backhanded effort from the goal line in tight. Can't quite connect. Slamming on the brakes, spinning away from pressures Burchild. Burchild still with it. Goes behind the net on a pass, making the goaltender go from right to left. Bodies tangling up, but that was friendly fire, so no penalty coming. Firing upstairs and scoring is Plant out of Hermantown, Minnesota. He goes just under the bar. Hughes in great position for both of those tallies. But precision shots from Hale and Plant. And Great Plains with a dozen on the scoreboard. They feed it over. Looking to deflect one through was Pedersen. Right idea. They had Dylan Dean awaiting, and as he was looking at it from the weak side, an absolute yawning net, but they make sure the pass doesn't get through. Here's Dean. Dean fires, tries to use his opposition as a screen, but Hayes, the netminder, able to track it and kick it out to his right. 6:24 to go in the third. 12-3. Great Plains in control. This will carry him out for Shamil. He's stripped of it. They'll fire his shot, gloved by Cruitt. Cruitt out of Andover, Minnesota. Plays for the Andover Huskies program. Great Lakes controls the faceoff. Now chipped ahead. Great Lakes looking to make something here. It begins with a D-to-D pass, and that starts to move some bodies around and takes care of some of the congestion as there weren't too many lanes to get out of. touched on ahead, tangled up. And Great Plains does a great job there defending the blue line. Backhanded into the zone. Great Plains trying to get out as quickly as they got in. Offside by just a hair, as it was brought over with Junt and Francisco. A little bit late of a call, and I thought that it was offside. So as I started that sentence, was going to say that they just kept it onside, but the official does agree with my line of sight that the player coming up the left side ever so slightly ahead of the puck carrier down the middle. Swatting at it was Cruitt with the paddle, although probably best that he missed as it got deeper into the corner as opposed to potentially ending up somewhere where Great Lakes could have had a shooting opportunity had they gotten to it first. 4:03 left to go in the third period. 12-3. Great Plains on top. The two teams have traded goals here in the third. Great Plains scoring with Hale and Plant. And Camden Guyette scoring for Great Lakes. Icing the call, and we'll have a face-off coming to the right side of the netminder with under 3.5 to play. They'll feed it in tight. Tangling of bodies. Dean with it now. Skates. Holds. And still stick handling. Has some options. Feeds it in tight. And they bang away at it. That was one where Dean was just slaloming through his opposition. They'll fire a shot on. Save made by Hayes. But he fed Ingstrom, and the only problem there was he'd spent so much time that Ingstrom, playing defensively and starting to creep and pinch in, had come to a standstill. So it's tough to get much on that shot. Had he maybe had the puck fed a little bit in front of him and he could have skated onto it, gotten a little bit more. It was also a little to the side. So they end up with an opportunity here in the offensive zone face-off win. Panzer throws it towards the net, trying to bang home a rebound. And Great Lakes doing a good job there of clearing out the crease. As, again, McCullen Hayes out of Bark River, Michigan, has played well in relief here. He's seen an onslaught of offense. And the way Great Plains has played all game, I don't think that with him starting the game it would have made a difference in the outcome. Perhaps could have, however, in the scorers. Again, not to take anything away from Chesick, who played really well at times, but this Great Plains team could just pour on the offense at will, it seems like, when they're firing on all cylinders. Here's Kane Johnson with a good scoring opportunity. And again, we see Hayes tall to the task. 1 minute remaining in the third. Johnson tangles up his man behind the goal line. Great Lakes finally comes away from the pack, and they'll get this ahead for Sekreski. 37 seconds left to go in the period. 12-3. Great Plains on top. Sent around. They get it over for Junt. Stolen at neutral ice. Great Lakes with an opportunity late in the contest. Firing a shot on, and it wasn't gloved cleanly by Cruitt, but he cleans up the rebound offered from the Cam Nimmer shot. Nimmer along with Rafael, hailing from Ashburn, Virginia, and the clock will sound. That will do it here as the Great Plains squad tied at ones, then broke away, making it a 4-1 lead after one. They led 10-2 going into the second and come away with a 12-3 victory. We're going to go ahead and send it down ice level in just a matter of moments. Tony Scott will have your post-game interview with the Youth Hockey Hub Player of the Game from the Great Plains squad as selected by himself and the PA announcer. So again, 12-3. Great Plains over Great Lakes. We'll have Tony Scott with the on-ice interview in just a matter of moments. Right here, it's the 2019 North American Hockey Showcase on Youth Hockey Hub.
We all were skating hard, and we just passed it, and that's how we did it.
You did it, all right. You are the second Nelson to play in the show. Your older brother Danny played in 2016. What's it mean to you to play in this tournament, and what are you going to do to maybe a little bit better than Big Danny?
Work hard, try and do what he did, do better than him. Yeah, just do better than him.
Do better than Danny?
Yeah.
That's not going to be too hard. All right, last but not least, you got Manitoba tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock at Mariucci. What's Great Plains going to have to do in order to get the W?
We're going to have to work hard, still pass the puck, and just work hard and just, yeah.
Listen to the coaches?
Yeah, do what they say.
Congratulations, Sammy, and the rest of your team on a big win today.
Thanks.
All right, Sammy Nelson, player of the game here on YHA.